and I'm glad you joined me. Today we're going to talk about butter. Besides, we live in the South, right? And we cook with butter. And there are so many different kinds of butter. At least there were not this many butters when I was growing up. So which one do you use? If you have a recipe, we're here at the holidays, you have a recipe and it doesn't call for salted or unsalted, which one are you going to use? So today we're just going to talk a little bit about those. And I've already touched a little bit on it, but butters do come in salted and unsalted. Most of your grocery stores carry both, and they carry it under their name. And those are usually fine butters to use. I keep both on hand. I like the fact that they come in quarters. I was never really good in math, and so the fact that it breaks it into tablespoons is easy for me. So I just keep this on hand if I have a recipe that I need salted or unsalted. This is usually what I use. Setting that aside, the next thing is European butter. Now, I don't have any European butter to show you because I don't buy European butter. It is high in fat, which makes it more expensive. And for those two reasons alone, that's reason for me not to buy it. So, but it is great butter. It is, you know, if you decide you want to buy some, it's going to be worth it. I can tell you that. But if you're looking at European butter in the dairy aisle, right next to it, you're going to have an American butter that is European style. That's my preference. I like to go with, okay, I'm not going to say this correctly, I'm sure, Plugera or Plugra. You all can help me with this one on how to pronounce that. Nonetheless, it comes in salted and unsalted, and I like them both. I like to leave the salted out on my counter. Did you know that you can do that? Did you know that you can keep salted butter out all the time? When I was growing up, I remember my mom and my grandmother using butter and always putting it back in the refrigerator. Little did I know that until a few years ago that you could leave salted butter out on your counter. That way, for breakfast, you get up, you have toast, you have a muffin, you have a bagel. You know what? You can just reach for that butter and it's going to spread very easily. So there are so many of these out now. Be sure and take a look at them. Like I said, they come in salted and unsalted, but the flavor of them is just like a European butter, but it's not as expensive. So remember that one. Another butter that we're going to talk about, flavored butters. Have you ever heard of a flavored butter? I have to admit, don't know that I had until a few years ago. We have a friend who is a wonderful chef, and he would make his own butters. He started off by putting honey in some butter. He would put herbs in butter. And any meal that we had would have a different flavor of butter. Well, fast forward a year or so, I started seeing these flavored butters on the shelf. Now, they may have been there all along, I just wasn't aware of it, but it heightened my awareness to flavored butters. And guess what? I love garlic, and I found this Kerrygold garlic and herb butter. Again, I keep this in my refrigerator, or I may just keep it in my freezer and pull it out when I have a special occasion and need some garlic butter. But it is a wonderful flavored butter. Experiment. I would encourage you to experiment with flavored butters. Don't, you know, they're not that expensive. It's butter, it's not margarine, and you know, I would encourage you to experiment with these because these are really hidden gems. Okay, the next butter we're going to talk about is ghee. It is clarified butter, and I had no idea what clarified butter was until a few years ago. When my kids, who are now adults, were growing up, I did not use this. My parents did not use this. I don't even know if it was sold, but I discovered it a few years ago when I was watching one of those cooking shows, and it's my new best friend. I keep it on the shelf. This has a higher smoke point, higher heat point. It has been separated from the milk fat, which means that you can take it to a higher heat when you're cooking with it. If you ever have a steak and you're doing it on the stove and you want to put butter with it, this is what I use. If you're sauteing, this is what I use. If you have some herbs that you're wanting to bloom on the stove, this is what I use. And like I said, one of the reasons I use it is because it has the higher smoke point, the higher heat point. But it also has a better taste than oil does. It has a nutty taste. So you know, I think if you try it, you'll enjoy it. Don't use it for everything. It's not as inexpensive as regular butter, but it's not going to break the bank either. I have another one that I started to bring out, but it has about this much in it. But I wanted to show you that if you shook it, you can actually shake it up. This one's brand new, so I didn't do that. But anyway, it's on the shelf in the grocery store. It's not with the other butter because it does not need to be refrigerated. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Now, the last butter that I want to talk about, which I really want to try and I have not, is goat butter. I love goat cheese. I love goat milk. I love anything goat, and my hunch is goat butter is going to really be good. If you're lactose intolerant, I would say give it a try. From what I understand, it's a great butter to put on a charcuterie board. And you say, why would you put butter on a board like that? Well, if you've got some bread and you've got some cheese, you could rub a little of that between the two. And I would think that it would be just a really rich taste. But I don't know. I'm going to give it a try and I'll let you know, or you can give it a try and let me know. So I hope that's helped you and helped educate you and help you navigate the butter aisle a little better. I appreciate you watching. And if you have any questions, give me a shout. Have a great day.